There was this viral post last week where people were posting grocery prices. $11 for a bag of grapes, $8 for a gallon of milk. And someone asked, how are people surviving? That question's not dramatic, it's honest. You'd think the biggest economic package Congress has passed this year would address it, right? Right? Let's talk about it. Grocery prices are still out of control. You feel it every time you swipe your card. Milk, bread, eggs, everything costs more. Since Donald Trump's tariffs went into effect, prices at Walmart on everyday items have jumped as much as 51%. So you'd expect that people like Congressman Steve Womack and the Republicans in Congress would be all over plans to address rising prices. You'd expect that their big economic package, the one big beautiful bill, would make inflation a priority. You would expect these things, and you'd be disappointed. Shocker. Steve Womack has disappointed you again. Here's the reality. The one big beautiful bill doesn't fix inflation, it feeds it. This bill is being celebrated by the same politicians who got us into this mess. They want you to believe they're solving inflation and making the economy better, but the fine print, it's nothing but a massive giveaway to the same corporate giants who've been price gouging you for years. While they were passing this bill, Walmart and other retailers were raising prices on backpacks and bike locks and dog crates. Not because they had to, but because they could. And guess what? The one big beautiful bill doesn't touch any of that. There's no crackdown on price gouging. There's no anti-monopoly enforcement. There's no support for small local producers who could actually lower costs by shortening supply chains. So when they tell you that this bill is about helping you at the checkout line, don't buy it. It was written by corporate lobbyists for corporate profits. And that shows every time you check your receipt. You've seen the TikToks. Moms asking how they're supposed to feed their kids when grapes cost $11 and eggs are $9 a dozen. This isn't sticker shock. It's a moral failure. And instead of helping people, this bill makes it harder for people to get assistance. Let's talk about food assistance, the SNAP program. You'd think a bill this big, one that reshapes our whole economy, would at least make sure that people can afford to eat, right? Well, instead, the one big beautiful bill rewrites the rules for SNAP, the program that helps families put food on the table. It locks in a stingier food plan, makes it harder for states to run the program. It makes cruel new cuts that hit seniors and people with disabilities and low-income workers. In other words, while billionaires get a tax break, struggling families get a lecture. And if that wasn't enough, this bill also strips out billions in climate-smart funding that don't just produce jobs, but also could have made our food system more resilient. Programs that could have helped farmers adapt to drought and diversify their crops and stabilize supply chains. Gone. Because someone in Washington like Steve Womack decided we couldn't afford that. But we could afford more defense contracts. We could afford more subsidies for chemical agribusiness. We could afford tax breaks for the rich. So who pays the price? You do. You pay it in higher grocery bills. You pay it when you skip fresh fruit for ramen. You pay it when your local food pantry can't keep up with the demand. They're calling this a victory for the American people, but let's be clear. This bill was written for the corporate lobbyists who spend every day making sure nothing changes. It's not inflation fighting policy. It's political theater with a price tag. Right here in Northwest Arkansas, we know how powerful companies like Walmart are. But power comes with responsibility. Our economy should reward the people who stock the shelves, not just the ones cashing out their shares. If we really want to bring down grocery prices, here's what we should be doing. We should be breaking up the food monopolies that are jacking up prices. We should be investing in small and regional food producers who could keep costs low and food local. We should expand, not cut, programs like SNAP so no one goes hungry in the richest country in the world. We should make sure that our food system is built for people, not just profits. We can do this, but only if we stop letting the same politicians and the same corporate lobbyists recycle the same broken promises, expecting us to get different results. The grocery aisle shouldn't feel like a battlefield. But until we get real change, change that puts people ahead of profits, it will. So let's name this for what it is. The one big beautiful bill, it's a big ugly deal for working families. You can visit robbforcongress.com/uglybill, robbforcongress.com/uglybill. The link is down in the description to download a free guide that we've put together. It'll walk you through what your family can do now that the one big beautiful bill is the law of the land. I'm running for Congress because you deserve better than this.